So guys, what story does that tell? What story does it tell us when inventory does nothing but go up for 6 months? Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Christopher McGee. I'm the owner of Halcyon Real Estate. We are affiliated with the Keller Williams Market Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Today is June 23rd, 2025. And this is the numbers, the nuance. This is where you come weekly in order to know exactly what Utah's housing market looks like. Let's jump right into it. Guys, I always track the data and show it to you here from the beginning of the previous quarter to the present. And that means that if we're starting a brand new quarter, then we've got about 3 months of data looking to present. And if we're right at the end of a quarter, where we are now at the tail end of the second quarter, and we're looking back at about 6 months of data. So right now we're looking at the last 6 months of data, which starts the beginning of 2025, right? So from the very beginning of the year to now. And I just want to point out right now that there are 3 points of data that have trended in one direction and one direction only from the beginning of the year to now. Every other point of data has gone in one direction and then leveled out, or gone in one direction and then had some volatility and gone in another direction. And that is completely normal because real estate is a seasonal thing, and as the season changes, the market will shift with it. And that's what makes these 3 data lines that much more interesting, that they have gone only in one direction of trend from the very beginning of the year to present. Those 3 points of data are inventory, which has gone only up, average list price, which has gone only very moderately down, and the number of price reductions that happen every week, which has gone nowhere but strongly up. So guys, what story does that tell? What story does it tell us when inventory does nothing but go up for 6 months? What story does it tell us when average list price goes consistently very moderately down, even through a market or a time of season when we would expect it to start to swoop up a bit? And what story does it tell, of course, when the number of price reductions happening to homes that are actively for sale on the market goes nowhere but up? Obviously, those stories paint the same picture for all 3 of those data points, and that is the story I've been telling the last several weeks, that our market has been tilting slightly in favor of the buyers, notwithstanding stubborn higher interest rates, and compared to where our market has been coming from the high seller's market that we had a few years ago, which slowed down dramatically across the last few years and now seems to be heading slowly the other direction. No, I don't believe this is a bubble. I don't believe that we're seeing the peak and a downside of our housing market to equal the upside that we had on our seller's market. I don't think we're headed for a waterfall dive in home prices or for this to be a very strong buyer's market. The data doesn't show that right now, but the data is always interesting. Let's look at the numbers. All right, here's what Utah's housing market is looking like as of the 23rd of June, 2025. We have 13,339 homes actively ready for sale in Utah. That's what our inventory looks like right now. That is up from the previous week. As I said, this has trended nowhere but up from the beginning of the year. Last week, our average days on market came to 56 days on average before a home seller would expect to see an offer that they would accept and go under contract on. That's up from the previous week and still within this low to mid 50s range that we seem to have fizzled out within on average days on market. Average list price this prior week came to $632,005. That's down significantly from the range in the 700,000s that we were at last week, and we see that continues our very moderate downward trend. Average sold price came to $623,656, and that means that the difference between average list price and average sold price still in the buyer's favor. That difference came to $8,349. The number of homes sold last week came to 501, down from the previous week's 600 even, but still up in the range where we expect it for this time of year. The number of homes currently under contract sits at 5,575, which is up from last week, deciding it isn't done going up just yet after the last month or so of trending down. Last week, the number of price reductions came to 1,628. That's up again from the previous week, still a very strong trend up, as we said. Nothing but up from the beginning of the year. Last week, the number of listing contracts that were either canceled, expired, or withdrawn came to 308. That's down from the previous week. And last but not least, our interest rates for a 30-year fixed rate conventional loan stand right now at about 6.84%. That is down from last Monday, still hovering close to 7, but under 7. And we like to see it keep on coming down. So that's the story this week, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about the numbers or where I get them or how I've presented them, them, feel free to hit me in the questions and the comments always. I'm gonna be happy to respond. If you or anybody you know is looking to move in Utah in the coming months here, I hope you're comfortable reaching out to me. My info is always in the video description at the bottom. I'd love to hear from you. I'm gonna make sure you're educated on the right now market, not just for Utah, but for the location you're looking in. And I'm always gonna make sure you understand what's happening next. That's my job. I want your move to be as smooth and anxiety-free as possible. And if you're the kind of person who likes to stay up to date on this data, you will not find a better way than to hit that subscribe. Stay up on it with me from week to week. Thanks for watching this week, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, bye-bye.